Live with us today, that reaction I promised from Democratic Congressman Krishnamoorthi from Illinois, who joins us now. Congressman's a member of the House Intelligence and Oversight Committee. So, as I said to our Washington Bureau Chief Mike Vicaire, it's not necessarily surprising, I suppose, that Chris Wray is resigning, but maybe, as always, surprising when you hear the news on a day like this. What's your reaction to it?
I think it's very troubling. I think that your previous commentator who said that Mr. Wray, who was chosen by Trump, is eminently qualified for this position, and she's not sure about the qualifications of Mr. Patel are on the mark. You know, we might disagree with Mr. Wray. He might be a Republican, but nobody questions how he views where he needs to place his loyalty. It's to the American people. He needs to do their work. And that is what he has strived to do. On the other hand, it appears that Mr. Trump has chosen Kash Patel because Mr. Patel will do the work of Donald Trump. And that is very dangerous.
So, yeah, as I said, the Trump statement literally says, in his words, that Kash is the most qualified nominee to lead the FBI in the history of the Bureau. He says the agency's history. That's his statement. That's what he said about Patel. Thoughts?
I respectfully disagree with Mr. Trump. Look, at the end of the day, the incoming president gets to decide his team. However, as you also pointed out, the Senate will advise and consent and decide to confirm or not. And I hope that the senators, in taking up these conversations with Mr. Patel, ask him some very pointed questions about his plans for the agency, such as, does he really mean it when he says he's going to go on a vengeance tour, a political retribution tour with the agency? Does he really mean it that he's going to close the entire headquarters when he enters office? These are important questions.
Would they be disqualifying? So you're saying those issues, if you were a senator, what would be disqualifying, knowing what you know about Patel already?
I think both of those are both of those are disqualifying. In addition, as Chris Christie said the other day, you know, the FBI does some really important work. There's a reason why there hasn't been a 9/11 since 9/11. It's in part because the FBI has been protecting the homeland. And when you have a guy who comes in and who says he's going to prioritize taking political vengeance and retribution on Donald Trump's enemies as opposed to protecting the homeland, protecting us from terrorists, protecting us against the bad guys, guess who wins? It's the bad guys. They are cheering for nominations like this. So that's not what we need right now.
And to that point, doesn't a lot of that work currently, it doesn't mean it can't happen somewhere else, but doesn't a lot of that work happen at FBI headquarters, that coordination work for protecting the homeland?
100%. You know, there's a reason why the CIA does not do this work. It's prohibited from operating on American territory. The FBI is primarily tasked with law enforcement and protecting the homeland, and they do it well. And the men and women of the FBI don't get enough credit for that. By the way, if someone like a Kash Patel were confirmed for this particular office, I fear that the best and the brightest at the FBI would head for the exits because they don't want to be a part of any kind of circus, political circus.
That's one of the great questions about whether we'll see, you know, if it hurts morale and if it even hurts the numbers at the FBI. That's an open question if he's confirmed. Final thing for you, Congressman, as a Democratic member of Congress, what would you say about the legacy of Chris Wray, appointed by a Republican president, Donald Trump, more than 7 years ago as FBI director?
You might agree or disagree with him, but you could never disagree with one thing, and that's he's a patriot, okay? That counts for a lot. I might be a Democrat, he's a Republican, but whenever he came to Capitol Hill, whenever he testified, I knew that he was putting America's interests first, and I have to also applaud him for his work with regard to efforts countering the Chinese Communist Party and their malign influence campaigns here in the United States.
Congressman, thanks for hopping on with us so quickly as the news breaks. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you so much.
Krishnamoorthi there from the state of Illinois. Here in New York with me is